progress would be willingly received.
Not good enough, similar to the game on Saturday. Probably started the game better today.
And Kane taps it in. 6.5 minutes.
I felt that Senegal played with more confidence, with more rhythm.
Inside the box and volleyed in. Brilliant goal. 1-1. It's Martha that has got the touch to poke it in.
What a test this is for England. This felt like we were a bit frozen at times.
And I include myself that our expectation towards ourselves hold us back a little bit.
Diallo is inside the penalty, he's inside the 6-yard box, and the ball is in. Senegal lead by 2-1.
Now we showed that we have personality from the beginning. We wanted to show our football.
A disappointing England performance tonight. But that's to take nothing away from Senegal.
Obviously 3-1. Yeah, we should have been 2-2 because the goal is a perfectly legal goal.
Towards the far post, heading down, and put in for 2-2. Jude Bellingham.
They're suggesting there was a handball in the build-up from Cutwell.
Going to be disallowed. Aaron knocking it square to his left-hand side. Henderson is beaten, and so too are England. 3-1 to Senegal. It shakes a Bali that has supplied the decisive blow.
We have to learn from it, and we will.
Yep, England slumped to the first defeat under Thomas Tuchel. Senegal won 3-1 in the friendly at the City Ground last night. Are some people ready to apologise to Gareth Southgate yet? I would be doubting it very, very much. The Three Lions were second best to an impressive opposition. I thought they were. They were very, very impressive, who became the first African team to beat England's men. Now, joining us for more on this last night's events, the host of Talksport's Sunday edition. It's a very good morning to Henry Winter. Henry, good morning.
Good morning, Henry.
Morning, Ali. Morning, Gabby. I didn't really feel the love from all your fantastic je t'aime before 7 o'clock at full time last night. There wasn't much love in the air for Thomas Tuchel.
That's for sure, Henry. I think it's got to balance out. I mean, the disappointing performance against Andorra, got the victory, another clean sheet. I'm one of these guys, I don't get carried away with international friendlies when they go really, really well, and I don't go the other way when they don't go so well. However, I would have to suggest to you, and you tell me otherwise, the two games that haven't really given England fans any really positive vibes. Would that be correct?
Yeah, I think you're right. But I think your general point that England are never as bad as we depict them to be, and they're never as good as we build them up to be at times. So there's a balance there. But you can understand the frustration last night. Also with Tuchel, because look, I'm a Tuchel fan. I saw his work at Chelsea and elsewhere, and he should be the man who makes the decisive decisions in games. You know, he's shown that at the highest level at club football. But I just thought it was bemusing just when you get the team sheet and you see Kyle Walker, who's 35, who's going to be 36 at the World Cup, who's had a poor end of the season to the AC Milan. I understand he wants to get to 100 caps, and he's been a fantastic servant for England. But look, you know, you both played international football. It's about the time that you leave and you don't tarnish your legacy, which I think is happening with Kyle Walker. Particularly, and this is an England problem that probably goes back to Hoddle's days, there is a suspicion of outstanding passers with England. I mean, we had it a little bit with Scholes, obviously Beckham and Gerrard and Lampard were great passers, but with a player like Trent Alexander-Arnold, who is an absolutely phenomenal passer, who can change from defence to attack in a split second, he's exactly what England need. So to start Kyle Walker, who's been fantastic, but he is the past, and overlook Trent Alexander-Arnold, and then play a midfielder ahead of him out in Andorra, in Barcelona, I found bemusing from a coach of Tuchel's quality.
Yeah, I totally agree, Henry. And I mean, yes, it's a friendly. And I had some people message me last night saying, "Oh, it's a nothing game. It meant more to them." But we don't feel that, like sometimes England fans look at the Nations League. Oh, it doesn't really matter. Well, it matters. It mattered to Portugal and Spain. It mattered to Germany and France, who failed to get to the final. Last night should have mattered to our players. Why can't we celebrate beating Senegal and celebrate like we won a final? Harry Kane's comments, oh, they celebrated like they won a final. Maybe we should start doing that, Henry, in every game we play.
It's a really important point that that you make, and it was something that Tuchel touched on afterwards. He said he could hear in the England dressing room, he could hear the noise in the Senegal dressing room before the game, let alone at half-time, and obviously celebrating quite rightly afterwards because they were the better team, more fluid, more belief, more organisation. But I find that really worrying. Every game for England should mean so much. You guys played. I mean, you've got the pride that you had and still have in your shirt collection is absolutely huge. So I could completely understand why the Nottingham Forest fans, the Nottingham faithful, who were fantastic at the start, the celebration of England's connection with this great club, Viv Anderson, the Tifo and the Trent End and all that. Very patriotic group of fans who then turned on the players to an extent, but I think actually they turned more on Tuchel. He got booed as he went down the tunnel. So there was frustration, but it should mean so much, whether it's Andorra, whether it's a Senegal friendly, or whether it's going into a major tournament.
Here's one for you, Henry. We spoke about the performances against, obviously, Andorra and Senegal. Would the performances in the Nations League that we saw at the weekend be more of a concern to England, actually, than their own performances?
On many levels, completely right. I mean, first, the passion with which they played, the frustration in the teams who didn't, Spain looked sort of heartbroken, France looked heartbroken, but also the quality with which they played at the end of the season, when I think 11 of the players involved in the semi-finals and the final had gone through a grueling season in the Premier League, which was Harry Kane's point. He said, well, it's tougher in the Premier League. Look at Bruno Fernandes. He's played 66 games for this season. He's played 36 times for Manchester United, carrying a very average Manchester United team. Look at him going through 2 hours of grueling football against a top-class team, obviously playing for Portugal, and then taking his penalty. So absolutely, the pride, the commitment, the fitness, the absolute mockery of the sort of the whole fatigue argument. So look, it is a concern when you see that, and you see the quality and the exuberance out wide. Even Rafael Leao, when he came on in the second half for Portugal, I thought he was outstanding down the left. You look at Nuno Mendes at fullback for Portugal. Just the exuberance out wide. England have got some good players out wide, but we need to just sort of let them play with a bit more freedom, a smile, as Tuchel would say.
I think as well, when you look at Ivan Toney getting 3 or 4 minutes, his face on the sideline looked devastated. Trent looked unhappy at not getting the start as well. Curtis Jones played at right back, even though he come inside a little bit against Andorra. And then last night was Kyle Walker. He's got decisions to make, hasn't he, Henry? And we haven't got a lot of time. Isn't it 5 qualifiers left, a couple of friendlies before the tournament? He needs to figure out quickly what his team's going to look like.
He's got to trust some of the younger players. I mean, as you say, he's gone with Kyle Walker, who's 35. He's gone with Jordan Henderson, who'll be, I think, 35, 36 during the World Cup. These have been fantastic players for England, but England have to move on for them. What is the point of all the success that England have had in age group competitions in recent years? I was at the under-19s when they won that. I was at the under-21s when they won that. We have to be a little bit more trusting of the younger generation. Some of them have obviously come through, Miles Lewis-Skelly and players like that. But it was almost like Kyle Walker was in there, but almost just like sort of an older teacher looking after sort of a bunch of pupils who, we've got to trust these kids. They've got some good players there, but leaving Trent Alexander-Arnold on the bench, England's best passer, one of the best passers in world football, who can turn defence to attack in a split second, utterly bemusing.
Henry, trouble ahead, well, not trouble ahead, work ahead. That was wrong. That was wrong.
Oh, you meant that.
That was very wrong of the Scottish presenter. That was so wrong of the Scottish presenter and many. I said work ahead for England, Henry. I think you'll agree with that, mate. Is that fair?
No, I think you were right first time.
Thanks for your time, mate. Great to see you. Have a great day. Now, if you want
Talksport Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the Talksport app and on your smart speaker. Talksport.